Joining us now, Tiger Wrestling, as they get ready for state this weekend, and we've got 3 of the guys that are qualified for state, 3 of the 8 that are qualified for state. Anthony Miley, who's 13-5, a senior this year. Max Merrell, also 13-5, a sophomore this season. And Zach Collins, 12-5 this year, also senior. Guys, how you doing today?
Good. Pretty good, thanks.
Good. All right. Happy to have you all here. And, we'll first start off with how the district individual tournament went. We'll start over here with Zach. Finished 3rd in your weight class. How did you feel like you performed in your 2 matches?
At the district individual tournament, well, the first one, it went okay, but I feel like I could have done much better. I got pinned by the kid in the 3rd round, and it should have been over a lot quicker with me on top. The second match, I ended up with a forfeit because the guy got hurt.
Okay.
So, not much to tell there.
Yeah, gotcha. But 3rd place, and you're headed off to state. You went to state last year, qualified at 220?
Yeah.
220. Okay, 220 pounds. Compare, how you feel going into state this year, maybe compared to last year. Is it a completely different feeling?
It's different, but not. It's pretty similar still. It's different because I know what I'm walking into. It's not a completely new experience. Last year was first time doing wrestling at all, and I feel more prepared in general.
Gotcha. Anthony finished 2nd at 152, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. How did you feel like your matches went and how you performed over there in Roswell?
So I actually walked into the district individual tournament, the 2nd seed. So I got a buy-in to the semis, and the semis was against a kid from Merrell who I had wrestled before, and it was actually a really close match. But at district in the semis, I beat him 13-5, pretty good. And then I walked into the finals, and that was a pretty new experience for me. I've wrestled a lot, but I've never really been, like a finals type wrestler. And so this was really different, getting into the spotlight. And he ended up beating me, but I felt like I wrestled a lot better, and I feel really good at state.
And something I noticed, you get into a lot of matches where you're into decisions. I know you have a lot of falls, but you have a lot of close matches. I noticed at the team tournament, you had a lot of decision matches in there. Is that, you feel more comfortable wrestling that way instead of maybe trying to, go for the pin, or you work looking for that pin regardless at any situation you can get it? I
would say I'm looking for the pin, but I'm also really safe. I don't like getting pinned myself.
Yeah.
So if the pin is there, then I'll go for it. But if it's not, then I usually just like to stay in control.
Yeah. And is this your 2nd year or your 1st year on
this
the team?
This is my 5th year, actually.
Okay, 5th year wrestling and
yes.
2nd year with Alamogordo wrestling?
Yes.
Okay.
No, actually my 1st year.
First year with, okay, that's what I figured you were been a wrestler before, but I didn't remember your name from last year, so I wanted to make sure. So I guess then I'd ask you the question, if it's your 5th year wrestling, how did you get started in wrestling?
I actually started, so I moved from Alamogordo, actually. I moved 8th grade to Alaska, and Alaska's a really big wrestling state. And I moved there, and all my friends were like, yeah, we're wrestling. And I was like, what is that? And so I started wrestling, and it was a completely different sport, completely different mentality. If you lose, you don't know one to blame but yourself. And so it was really, really good to get into wrestling. And when I came back, I was so glad that they had a new program here, and being able to help out with it and being able to wrestle for it it's been fun.
Yeah. Max, you finished 3rd over at the district tournament at 170. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How did you feel like you wrestled over there in Roswell?
So my first match, I wrestled a kid from Santa Teresa, and he had beaten me by 2 points before, I think. And so I went in the match I was determined I'm going to beat this kid. And so we're pretty evenly matched. And so we got to 3rd period, and it was tied 2-2, and we went into overtime. And he just got the first takedown on me. So I lost that one, which sent me to the consolation side, where I wrestled for 3rd place and pinned the kid and really quick. So I should have been in the finals, but it's in the past. We'll just go to state and see what we can do.
All right. And, heading to state this year, and how many years have you been wrestling now?
This is my 3rd.
This is your 3rd year. So, as a sophomore now, as more experience, heading to a state tournament, what's your feeling about your confidence level heading into the state tournament this time around?
I'm feeling pretty good about this year. I've had the best season I've had out of all my 3 years, definitely this year. I can see improvement in everything I'm doing, so I'm feeling good. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Zach, one of the things that, and we were chatting before we came in here, is that, the team and how much the team overall has improved. You talked about, how many more wrestlers that are headed to state this season. And it just seems like there definitely is. Just watching the wrestling meet in the Tiger Pit, it just feels like a completely different atmosphere around Tiger Wrestling just from last year to this year. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, we got a bunch of new kids show up, so not all of them wrestle as varsity. Last year I don't think we had any JV kids. It was just all varsity all the time.
Yeah. So this year you had a mix of that and a lot of different kids that had a chance to wrestle, but. Is it? I mean, obviously having a full team the way that you guys do, having 8 that are going up there, does that kind of build the confidence in the group that you've got? You can sit there and say, hey, we look a lot more like that wrestling team that's sitting across the way from us. Does that feel that way for you?
Yeah, it does a lot. Because last year it was just like a few of us kind of sitting there like, we look kind of small. Yeah, we show up at all the tournaments this year just looking, hey, we got bigger.
Yeah, there's more of you, and you have a better chance of winning.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And, of course, we got these 3 guys here. We do want to mention that, of course, Devin Brown has got qualified for state at 182, Ricky Pineda at 106, Felix Arias at 120, Delano Arias at 126, and Orlando Marroquin, I believe that's how you say his name. Hopefully I got that right.
Something like
that. He's qualified at 285, so he's heading in at the heavyweight in there. And I think I've asked this of all the wrestlers I've had a chance to talk to recently, as this program has started. Anthony, I mean, to be a part of kind of the genesis, the beginning of this Tiger Wrestling program, is that something that's going to be special for you? I know you're graduating this year, but to look back on this, is that going to be something that you'll show some pride in?
Oh, yeah. In my team in Alaska, we were a smaller school and we had like 80 people on our team. It was huge. And so I was kind of on the back burner in that school, and it was really different. And coming here and being one of the top wrestlers here, it really changes my perspective, and it makes me want to help, the kids who are new to this, because, I was once that kid. And so it's really cool, and it's a special feeling being able to be a part of a new team.
And how important is, I am sure that Coach Spence and Coach Arias have been kind of trying to implement in you guys that, helping to build up the program after you guys is really important. Is that something they've talked to you guys a lot about?
Oh, yeah. We showed up, a lot of us showed up at the basketball games, wearing our wrestling gear. So, hopefully, like, some of the other teams will notice us and they'll come to our stuff, and it will help build each other.
Yeah. Maximum, what have you found the best way to, get more people to come out and get involved in the wrestling program? I mean, it's just been word of mouth. Is that, you feel like that's the best thing?
Yeah, that's wearing the gear, just talking about wrestling. And the school's been pretty good about publicizing the fact that a ton of us are going to state this year. And I think if we just keep getting the word out, have more home matches, hopefully as the program gets bigger, and it'll be good.
Yeah, and I know one of the tough things, obviously, with wrestling is that it is such a intense sport, and that you've really got to be dedicated to it. I mean, I have nothing but respect for all you guys in this team because, again, watching the wrestling matches and how much work that is put into it, and you end up in an overtime match and you're exhausted and all that. I mean, it's worth it that, the kids that are come out for that, they at least have an idea of, how much dedication they need to have to be involved in the sport, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to explain to somebody how much they really need to be dedicated heading into this, I mean, can you even explain that to somebody?
I don't even think there's words, but like,
yeah,
this takes up 3 months, 4 months of your life right there.
Yeah,
just complete dedication. Like you'll go to the gym and you'll work arms. You'll run 3 miles, but nothing is as exhausting as a full wrestling match.
Yeah. My best explanation of it is basically a 6-minute full body sprint, sometimes more.
I can't even imagine that. That hurts me even thinking about that one.
It hurts actually doing it.
I'm sure it does. Well, and that's the other part about it. Just talking to the athletic trainer, David Maldonado, and I said, I don't think there's any sport that you guys are needed more than a wrestling event, because there's blood, there's all kinds of things. I mean, it is as physical a sport. I know football's physical, and Max, obviously, that, and it's something completely different than any other sport that's out there. I got to feel like all you take pride in the fact that it's something different. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've had nothing but fun watching you guys get started and headed off to state. I guess I'll ask you. We'll start over here with Max. What's your expectations for the state tournament, and what are you going to be happy with at the end of the day when you head up to state?
As a sophomore, and knowing that I have 2 more years to improve and get better, I'm expecting to win a couple, but whatever happens, and it'll be good, and it's just a learning experience for next 2 years.
As long as you felt like you gave your best, that's
right.
Probably, yeah. Anthony, senior for you, so this is your last high school opportunity in wrestling. How are you going to be able to walk away at the end of the day and feel like, you know what, I gave it everything I needed to?
Even if it's the same sport, wrestling in Mexico is different than wrestling, in a different state. And so if I walk into the state tournament and I wrestle my best and I leave it all on the mat and I place decently well, I'll be happy with myself.
All right, Zach, how about you?
Winning a few matches would make me happy. I mean, I'm only a second-year wrestler, so I don't have as much experience underneath my belt, but at least get through, I think, 2 matches, beat 2 kids, and then as long as I do my best through the entire tournament and just leave it all out there, put it just 100% on, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I'm sure there's so many things that can happen in a match. You can run into somebody that is just, wrestling so well, and some of those guys are, 1 loss, 2 loss guys. I mean, it can definitely be challenging. So, want to let everybody know, if you want to see the brackets, they're available on NMAA. You can know when these guys are wrestling and who they're wrestling against. They do a real good job of updating that stuff. You can't go to the Santa Ana Star Center, but I know you guys are going to represent Alamogordo well. I know you're looking forward to it. Best of luck to each of you, and congratulations on a great season, regardless of what happens in state. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
All right.